I'm doing so good at stupid. Let's do this thing, buddy.
Yes. Why now? Why do
Right
this now? You are a spring chicken at 72. Your health must be good. You're looking great. Why do this now?
What, you talking about the auction?
Yes.
Well, because I'm so healthy and I'm looking so good. By the way, Tim, I got to tell you, what a sad day in America that you can't get a Zoom video thing going with Uncle Ted, because I'm looking so handsome this morning. It's a real shame that our fellow man can't witness the piss and vinegar and the glow and the spirit and the attitude and the downright handsomeness of Uncle Ted in March of 2021, in spite of the stupid world getting dumber every day. But anyhow, I'm having an auction. Tim, my life, what an adventure. I mean, Lewis and Clark and a whole gaggle of Sacagaweas has no comparison to my daily adventure. And I got to tell you, I'm having so much fun, even as an old man. I'm 72 years old now. And I was playing guitar licks. I had my guitar and I get an old Fender amp and one of my miraculous Holy Grail Gibson Birdland Sonic Bomb Bastodons ready to crank for you live on Zoom. So we got to figure that out. I do Zoom all the time, and I cleanse the soul of the masses with the most unbelievable, wonderful animal breeding guitar tone in the history of noise. And the auction is happening now because what I just described, I got a Polaris full of dogs and guns, and I'm going out. I shot my bow this morning. I've already filled some bird feeders. I am so active. I thank God every day for every breath I take and every sunrise and sunset. But you can only manage and put to use so much stuff. Tim, I'm drowning in stuff. I'm not a materialistic guy, but you wouldn't possibly believe me if you saw my array of lifetime accumulation. So of the hundreds and hundreds of wonderful, beautiful pieces of firearms art that I own, and the guitars, the unbelievable craftsmanship masterpiece guitars that I own, and the gas-guzzling horsepower, neck-snapping G-force hot rods that I throttle. Enough is enough, Tim. I think we can both agree, Metal Tim and Uncle Ted and everybody with a sound mind and adequately buoyant spirit would admit that the greatest philosopher of all times was Dirty Harry when he said a good man knows his limitations. So, Tim, I'm selling off hundreds of phenomenal guns, handguns, Ducks Unlimited commemorative shotguns, and custom sniper rifles from the greatest SWAT armorers in the world. You know why? Because they sit in safes. These some of my unbelievable collectible Smith & Wessons and various firearms have sat in a bunch of safes for some of them 50 years. That's sacrilege where I come from. I by the way, I'm keeping my favorite 100 guns, and I'm keeping my favorite 60 guitars, and I'm keeping my favorite 12 hot rods. But enough is enough. That just the management, the inventory, the safeguarding, the securing, the annual inventory, and the insurance, and the guns, you clean them, and the guitars, you have to adjust them, and enough's enough. So again, I'm still wallowing in really a vulgar overdose of stuff, but I'm getting rid of a bunch of stuff that I just don't use, and they're all so phenomenal. These guitars, are you kidding me? The guns, are you kidding me? So hopefully someone will purchase them that will actually put them to use as God intended. So that's it in a nutshell. 2021, Uncle Ted is streamlining. I'm coming back down to earth, and I'm only keeping the stuff that I actually use because I'm a utilitarian guy anyhow.
Well, I'm not at that level, but BraveWords has been around, and I've been in the business 30, 40 years, and I must have over 1 million pieces of memorabilia, whether it be CDs or vinyl, posters or T-shirts. But they're my babies, and I can't let them go.
Yeah, that was a momentary struggle for me because even recently, even though it was 30 years now, the Damn Yankees unleashed our animal breeding soul music soundtrack, and I got a bunch of Damn Yankees memorabilia and paraphernalia from the tours and the stage props and a bunch of stuff going all the way back to the Amboy Dukes. And yes, as I fondle them, as I sniffle over their outrageous memory tsunamis, again, I'm such a pragmatist. I use the I wear shoes until they fall off my feet, and then I probably tape them up and keep using them. I'm such a frugal, simple, basic guy that between the farming, the ranching, and the hunting, and the guiding, and then the unbelievable rock and roll with Greg Smith and Jason Hartless. By the way, these are the greatest moments of my rock and roll, rhythm and blues, American soul music life. What Jason and Greg bring to my songs and my new songs, good grief, is this exciting. Now, if the toxic Marxist bureaucrats would just get the hell out of our way, we could go on tour and cleanse the souls of the masses. But that's a whole different subject. The point being, the auction, it is difficult, some of these things. I mean, I've got bows that were signed by my dear, dear blood brother, Fred Bear, and I've got one-of-a-kind custom Smith & Wessons. I got a beautiful 44 Magnum that Kiss gave me as a tour bonus. I forget, back in 2000 or so, and it's got the Kiss insignia on the barrel, a 44 Magnum
wow.
Kiss pistol. So there's really unique stuff. But again, I'm hanging on to the embarrassing load of debris, and it still is way too much, but I'm hanging on to the stuff that I'm going to pass down to my kids and grandkids, and that I use every day, and that I actually put to use in an enjoyable way. And so the stuff that I don't put to use in an enjoyable way, I'm having an auction, and it's going to be an orgy. It's going to be the ultimate gonzo firepower, horsepower, rock and roll orgy auction, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll help streamline my life.
Let me put a magnifying glass on a couple of parts of it. Talk to me about the guitars and the Holy Grail and your fondest memory of what you're giving away, and do the same with the hot rods, like your Holy Grail and the fondest memory of that you had with driving that beast.
Well, I'm an off-road guy, plus I'm a high-performance horsepower nut. I love G-forces. I love to go around the idiots in the left lane and see if I can't educate them if those signs actually mean what they say, left lane for passing only. What a bunch of numbnuts. If I can do anything, Metal Tim, on this Metal Tim celebration, it's all you people in the left lane. That's for passing. If you're not passing, get the hell over with the right lane people, either in front of them or behind them. But the left lane is for passing, you numbnuts. The point is, I love to drive. I was tutored by the great Parnelli Jones and Mickey Thompson and Rick Mears and Ivan Ironman Stewart. I raced off-road professionally, Barstow 350 and the Mint 400, the Parker 400, the Colorado Pikes Peak, and I was surrounded by the world's greatest horsepower maneuvering gods. So my Ford Broncos are really, really cool, and the new Hellcat. I mean, my God, Dodge came out with the new middle finger challenge to all the other automakers, and they've responded quite nicely, but it was the Mopar gods that brought out the Hellcat with over 700 horsepower. Now they got over 800 horsepower. Mine does have 800 horsepower, but there's new ones out that are actually improved and upgraded in the handling, the performance, and the response. So I'm getting rid of my 2015 unbelievable Dodge Challenger Hellcat that actually has a plaque under the hood that says custom made for the Motor City Madman. Really cute. But that's going to the auction block, and because I have a whole a herd of incredible Ford Broncos, I'm getting rid of my 68 that's a complete frame-off rebuild. It's a state-of-the-art, old-school Ford Bronco from 1968. It's not cut, and the Bronco cultists out there know exactly what I mean when I say it's not cut. So, again, how many hot rods can I drive? How many trucks can I drive? And the guitars, Tim, I got a 19, you use the term Holy Grail. Good grief. I got a 1959 Les Paul that is the Holy Grail of luthiership and Kalamazoo master craftsman Gibsons, and it is phenomenal. And a 58, those are the two most iconic classic guitars in the history of stringed instruments. But, you know, I have a whole herd of Gibson Birdlands, the hollow body, phenomenal hollow body instrument that I made all my music with. And I'm hanging on to those. I'm keeping those. I was just playing them this morning. They're just so unbelievable. But the Les Pauls, some people really are Les Paul people, whether just a collector or a super duper player. And I don't play my Les Pauls very much. So I'm putting those on the auction block. And again, some of those 58 and 59 Les Pauls have broke the seven-figure number in auctions. I don't know if mine will go that high, but they're unbelievable master craftsmanship Gibson Les Pauls. And they all have great memories. I played them on stage over in Europe and around the world. But when it comes to unleashing my most molten lava creative juices, I always grab a Gibson Birdland, and I'm keeping a whole arsenal of those.
Well, you must be telling your fans about your musical future. Why the touring equipment? I read that. I'm like, oh, no, you can't get rid of his touring equipment. We want him to tour.
Tim, I'm keeping all my touring equipment that I actually use. I've accumulated so much. I have this giant barn in Michigan that every year after the tour, we store all this equipment, and every year it's increasing. We get more and more speaker cabinets, more amps, and more stacks and more stuff. And over the last, stop and think. I mean, we use the word phenomena a little too often, I think, but I'm about to unleash a true phenomena. And that is I did my 6,751st concert on July 31st. No, it was August 31st. Was it August 30th? I'd have to look. I think it was August 31st, 2019, with Jason Hartless on drums and Greg Smith on bass. We played at Pine Knob, the DTE Music Theater up in north of Detroit.
Yeah.
Tim, for me to be able to say with a straight face that my 2019, the Music Made Me Do It tour, was the most enjoyable, the most ferocious, the tightest, the most musically adventurous and gratifying tour of my life is really a phenomenon, because every one of my tours, you look at the unbelievable virtuosos that I've been surrounded with for the last 60-plus years, and God truly loves me. But what Jason and Greg bring to my classic songs and my new songs and just the unlimited jam sessions that we unleash on stage, for me to be able to say, as I wrapped up the 2019 tour, I was so happy, and I've always been very happy, but the guitar tone, the way Jason and Greg throttled this inescapable grinding groove, this energy storm that every song, every gig, every night, we really have tuned into a samurai zen unleashing of Dog Eat Dog and Free For All and Stranglehold and Cat Scratch and Wang Dang and Gonzo and Stormtrooping and The Music Made Me Do It and Love Grenade and Raw Dogs and War Hogs and, I mean, just the most fun songs in the world, Weekend Warriors and Queen of the Forest. I mean, come on, Motor City Madhouse, are you kidding me? If you could play those songs like we do as we get older with more ferocity and more, at the same time, it's more tuned in because we so care about the definitive delivery of the song, but it's also like a bunch of horny teenage punks in a garage with their first loud amplifier, so there's an uninhibited irreverence and just outrageous delivery of every song, but it's tighter and it's more dynamic. And when you can play those original killer songs tighter and more uniform but retaining the savagery, it really is an alignment of the planet. So my point is that here's 2021. The whole 2020 tour was canceled because of the Chinese virus attack and the power-abusing criminal punks in the Democrat Party that abused the Chinese, actually worked hand-in-hand with the communist Chinese to destroy America. And if people want me to elaborate on that, I'd be more than happy to, because the evidence is irrefutable unless you got your head up your ass, which unfortunately half of the Americans do. And if you see someone with a mask on, that's one of them. Anyhow, my point being is that the ferocity of what Greg and Jason bring to my music right now is the heyday of my musical dreams. I'm writing songs right now. We're going to go to the studio the next month or so. And I know there's no music industry. I know that everybody's burnt out on killer rock and rhythm and blues, rock and roll masterpieces. But we still create unbelievable masterpiece rhythm and blues and rock and roll, and we're going to continue to celebrate it, whether there's an industry or not. So the auction is a perfect example of me streamlining amplifiers and stage gear and memorabilia and guns and guitars and bows and arrows and trucks and hot rods that I don't use, because I got a bunch of those things that I do use. So those are the ones I'm going to continue to celebrate while I'm streamlining. And quite honestly, Tim, how much you want to bet I'm just making room for me to get more stuff?
Exactly. Do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yeah, go nuts, man.
You were speaking about ferocity. One of the last times I saw you was in my hometown of Barrie, Ontario, which is about an hour north of Toronto. Well, you must be familiar. You're 23 minutes from the Canadian border, so you must have some idea of the geography. You opened up for the Guess Who, and I'm watching Ted Nugent, and it was Mick Brown on drums. I can't remember who the bassist was, but just on fire.
Might have been Barry Sparks, or it might have been Greg already, but again, all of them.
Might have been the Dawkins connection, right? But just on fire, the three-piece, you have Motorhead, you've got Rush, but no, you've got fucking Ted Nugent. Holy shit, man, that was just like one of those moments. So you've got it. And there's a three-piece. How do you make that much noise as a three-piece?
Well, I'm glad you celebrate and recognize and embrace and enjoy what you just identified, because it's, as much as you enjoy what we do on stage, Tim, we enjoy it even more. When Greg and Jason are, when you saw us with Mick, and whether it was Barry Sparks or no matter who it might have been, I know Michael Lutz from Brownsville Station played bass for a long time with me, and Marco Mendoza, just unbelievable God of Thunder, and Johnny Gunnell from Johnny Cougar's band, John Gunnell. I mean, my rhythm section have always been supreme animals. Just they're so professional, they're so gifted in their musicality that they apply that to the songs that they love to play. I mean, I love playing all my songs. I can't wait to play my songs. And my musicians, my bass and drummer, have the same attitude. And when you're old school, and when I say old school, you're coming from a speakeasy jam environment. We played in the basement of a VFW hall, and we played the high school. We opened up for the Who at the Southfield High School in 1969, so we were able to play these from school gym auditoriums to VFW halls to an Elk Lodge. We played in the basement of churches, Tim, and when you play in those kinds of intimate environments, the musicians are so dedicated. All my musicians are, and all your favorite musicians are, I guarantee it. You talk about Rush and Motorhead, and whether it's ZZ Top or
ZZ Top, of course,
or anything Van Halen or any of your favorite bands, anything Sammy Hagar does. The musicians so love our music that when you're playing in an intimate setting in a small studio where most of us come from, little speakeasy, dirty down and dirty gig clubs, you are so tuned into each other because you're standing right next to each other. You're swapping sweat, and you're listening to the bass tone. And the bass players of supreme talent, and Geddy Lee's a perfect example, he tuned up his bass tone so it made him very, very happy and exhilarated. And all the greatest drummers tune their drums so they're really happy and exhilarated by every hit of the stick. And when you have that intimacy, and I'm worse than all of them because I'm constantly jamming in my basement, in my garage, in my barn, constantly experimenting with old amps and new amps and every imaginable combination thereof. So the musicians so tune in their dreamy sound, their dreamy tone and response from their instrument, that by the time you get in any gig, no matter how big, whether it's 500,000 people at Cal Jam or on the banks of the Limpopo in Botswana for two naked natives playing a really outrageous version of Great White Buffalo on a guitar with two strings missing. Believe me, these are all true scenarios, Tim. That's why I've got this. That's why I'm like this. But anyhow, what you asking how we get that sound, because it is all about the sound. We tweak and we nurture, we cultivate and we experiment and we demand ever increasing, improved, upgrade tone from our instruments. And so when we get in front of a ticket buying audience, we are so happy with our sound that tone and that sound is so widespread, especially, Tim. The Gibson Birdland is a North American hand-carved archtop, breathing, vocal, spruce, feedbacking jazz guitar. It has a soul and a voice of its own. And when you amplify the voice of that spruce the way that I do and the way that I've experimented my whole life, it has such a wide, just a tapestry, a geography, a topography of sound and tone and vocalizations from that guitar that it's huge. I don't need a rhythm guitar. In fact, when I write a song and play it for my rhythm section for Jason and Greg, the way my right hand strikes the Birdland strings, it sounds like there's a tambourine player, a maraca player, a guy with a hi-hat, a full drum set, and a bass player all at once. In fact, when I did Sammy Hagar's Rock and Roll Road Trip, I was showing him how I learned Jenny Take a Ride from Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, and the way my right hand kind of goes into a gonzo overdose of Bo Diddley strumming that. The whole chicka like the opening of Stranglehold.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of 16th and 32nd notes finding their way into that delivery. And so when you hear us live, the way I play with my right hand and the way I open up the tonal capabilities of my amplifiers through the Gibson Birdland and with Jason and Greg or all the rhythm sections as you witnessed, there is a wall, an absolute tsunami wall of tonality and sound, and all your favorite bands get it. Certainly ZZ Top gets it. Van Halen always got it. Rush always got it. Motorhead got it on a sheer volume. So all of your and my favorite music, and all real music lovers, we tune in to the cravings of the musicians to make themselves happy. And when we're supremely happy, I guarantee you music lovers will join us in this orgy of supremely happy sonic bombast. And that's how we get that sound as a three-piece. And it's not that unique because it goes all the way back to what Les Paul did, and even Chuck Berry, even though he had a piano most of the time. A lot of those masters, they did a three-piece, the bass, drums, and guitar. And so this is nothing new, but with the insanity of a musician's dream of improved sound and tone, I think we are experimenting nowadays a delivery of tonal impact that is unprecedented. And I guarantee when I hit the road, I pray to God this summer, when I hit the road with my Fender amps and my custom amps and the Magnetones that I've been playing around with nonstop, I guarantee my Ted Nugent guitar tone out of these Gibson Birdlands and the PRS and the Les Pauls that I occasionally strangle, I guarantee I will have the greatest guitar song history of noise and the history of audible punches. I crave guitar spread and response. And when you pursue it with the diligence and the insanity and the maniacal aggression that we do, then music lovers everywhere will be very, very happy.
What's the status of your four-piece, that massive supergroup, Damn Yankees?
Well, God, what a great band. Tommy Shaw, Jack Blake, Michael Cardelloni. what a great bunch of guys, but what a bunch of soulful bastards that just love original American rhythm and blues and rock and roll, and we incorporated it in every song writing, every concert, every performance. And I have nothing but just incredible respect for Tommy and Jack and Michael. Of course, Tommy's been so busy since the Damn Yankees last tour. I think it was 1993, maybe. Yeah, 1993, because in 1994 I went out with Michael Lutz from Brownsville Station on bass, and Michael Cardelloni played drums as our three-piece. And then Johnny Gunnell came on from John Mellencamp's band. But anyhow, the Damn Yankees, those 5 years, we sold 5 million records, created some incredible songs, performed unbelievable concerts, and those guys are so soulful. But right after Damn Yankees, of course, Tommy was horny to get out there and play those masterpiece stick songs. Jack Blades couldn't wait to do the Night Ranger thing. I couldn't wait to go out and play my masterpieces. And Michael Cardelloni shortly thereafter became the drummer that really kicked Leonard Skinner up the ass. And he was on tour with them for the last 30 years. So everybody's busy as hell. But I've always said that I still got a lot of piss and vinegar, and I keep in touch with Jack and Mike and Tommy. And it's unlikely, Tim, that we'll get together and do another Damn Yankee delivery, but it's not impossible because we all want to. It's just a matter of, in the world of clusterfuck logistics, it's hard to get in the same room together with all their pursuits and my pursuits, and the prioritizations, our expanding families and our love of family quality time. But it's not off the table, Tim. And I guarantee you this, Metal Tim, if Jack and Michael and Tommy and I got in the same room together, you couldn't inhale and exhale before we came up with a killer piece of soulful music. These guys, they literally live, eat, breathe, and shit fiery music. And it happens instantly, spontaneously, and it's like a primal scream every time we plug in. Within seconds, a groove starts, and Tommy and Jack unleash their unbelievable soulful vocals, and I just unleash the beast, and Michael grinds it like he's auditioning for James Brown. So it has a life of its own, but it's just a matter of those very difficult logistics getting in the same place at the same time. I can pray for it, and I would like you to join me praying for that.
Two quickies. Eddie Van Halen, I've read a lot with your relationship about Eddie, and it still is such a massive, massive loss. What did you guys have?
Well,
together?
You're right. It's always a heartbreaker. Us older guys are dropping like flies out there, and we'll never get past the impact of losing the masterful virtuosity of Eddie Van Halen. I think I would just be redundant and repeat what a sweetheart he was, what a gifted, visionary, musical genius he was. And, a lot of people go, their first tour was with Black Sabbath. Well, that's not true. Their first tour was opening up for me. And he was the whole band, David and Michael and Alex and Eddie were just the definition of killer, uninhibited, irreverent firestorm rock and roll. And Eddie and I connected immediately because I play a Gibson Birdland, which is a really unique guitar in the world of rock and roll. I'm the only guy. And Eddie, of course, created his own guitars. So we got together at the very first sound check, and I played his through his rig, then I played my Birdland through his rig, then he played my rig, then he played his Eddie Van Halen guitar through my Fender amps, and every time we did any combination thereof, he sounded like Eddie and I sounded like Ted. And we had a great conversation and a great relationship. And I got to tell you, I heard a guy on Howard Stern one time saying how Eddie and I got together and jammed, and I was angry because I didn't know how he did what he did. And I mean, why are people so stupid? They were angry. Eddie and I got along great. In fact, I think the culmination of his and my relationship, we jammed at the NAMM event a number of times, and we kept in touch over the years. We bumped into each other every year. We hugged. We reminisced about guitar tones and exploratory musical adventure and family and beautiful girls. And then when Eddie got clean and sober, he called me, and he thanked me for keep pushing and hammering how important clean and sober is for a quality of life and a quality of family time and a quality of musical creativity. He called me and expressed how he appreciated that I never let up on pushing for clean and sober in everything I do. And we kept in touch over the years. We had an on again, you know, because he was busy and I'm busy. It's not like we talked every month or even every year. But he and I were friends. I truly revered and valued not just the friendship, but his musical. He inspired everybody, no matter what instrument you play. Eddie Van Halen inspired everybody, much like Jimi Hendrix, much like Les Paul or Chuck Berry or Bo Diddley or Eric Clapton or Jimmy Page or Jeff Beck. So we had a wonderful relationship, and it's just a tragedy that Howard Stern will let a guy get on his show and lie that Eddie and I had any friction whatsoever. What kind of punk would just pull such a lie out of his ass and then expose it to the public on a major network like that? But the point being is that Uncle Ted and Metal Tim just cleared the air. Eddie Van Halen was a great man. I understand he was a great father, a great husband, an incredible musical genius and explorer. And thank God, like in the song Stranglehold, I had nothing planned in the middle between the two boleros in Stranglehold when we recorded it in 1974. Never before had I said, as I was getting ready for the next bolero, I was laying down a reference vocal with my melody for Derek to sing, which he just did an unbelievable job of, huh? Wow. And in the middle there, I went, some people want to get high, some people got to start low, some people think they're going to die someday. I got news, you never got to go. Well, I didn't plan on that. It wasn't written down. I hadn't thought that thought. I'm sure I'd thought it before. But I just said it spontaneously, and I think that identifies what great artists will leave for humanity forever. And that Eddie Van Halen's energy and piss and vinegar and his musical adventure, it's recorded. We have it at our disposal forever. You never have to go. Even a great welder, Tim, a great plumber, a great teacher, a great mother, a great father, a great neighbor, a great, generous, loving person, they'll never be gone because their donations to humankind will live on to varying degrees with future generations. And Eddie Van Halen's gifted work, along with Michael and Alex and David and Sammy, it's always there for us, isn't it? So he will always be with us.
Last question, and that was very poignant what you said. Absolutely beautiful. I don't know if Linda shared the photo of you and I that I sent her a couple of days ago.
Yes, we were very handsome. We were very handsome young people.
We
I think
like
I was
siblings.
a little better looking than you, but
Of
you
course
had a
you were.
wonderful shit-eating. I don't know if you inspired my shit-eating grin or I inspired your shit-eating grin, but the fact that we had like a harmonious shit-eating grin, Tim, is all the world needs to know how good people get along.
It was August 16th, 1991, Damn Yankees, Bad Company, Kingswood Music Theater. And Brian Howe, sadly, rest in peace. But I just wanted to give you that background behind that photo. That's 30 fucking years old, buddy.
How about that? I just turned 72, Tim. You know, we lost Brian Howe here last year, too.
I know.
And he and I kept in touch. And again, just another indicator of the world-class musical power of dogs that I've been surrounded with all my life. You go back to my Royal High Boys in Detroit in 1958, and then the Lourdes in 1960, and then the Amboy Dukes in 65, and then the Ted Nugent solo stuff. I mean, every musician, God knows I've been around a lot of them. I've had a lot of drummers, a lot of bass players, a lot of incredible keyboard players, just unbelievable vocalists. But boy, oh boy, you can hear it in my voice, Tim, in 2021 at the age of 72.3 years. I am so alive, and I got to tell you, everybody listening right now to Metal Tim, thank you. The real music lovers and the good, positive people around the world have given me such a quality of life and beyond any dream I could have ever had growing up in Detroit. Any dream a human could possibly ever dare dream. I have succeeded in that because the people who love real soulful music and energy and defiance, piss and vinegar and humor and cockiness and truth, logic, and common sense, God bless everybody out there that has supported me and my bands. We thank you from the bottom of our greasy rhythm and blues heart and soul. And Tim, for you allowing me to express this on your Metal Tim Get Down here. You know how much I appreciate that. And I wanted to say that to people all around the world, because now with social media, even though most of it is anti-social media, but now I communicate with people from every corner of the globe, Tim, every day on my Facebook. I would welcome people to come to the Ted Nugent Facebook every day. The positive spirit and the positive energy, the attitude, the piss and vinegar, the middle finger on fire parade, the cockiness, the humor, the irreverence, and the soulfulness on my Facebook every day is unbelievable, irrefutable testimony that you and me, Tim, are not alone. The positive spirit, the goodwill, the decency, the love, the affection, and the adequate cockiness is alive and well across the planet. And I am so proud and so humbled by the people sharing this communication at my Facebook. It's like an electronic campfire where people gather around who have unlimited love and unlimited spirit and positive energy. So thank you, everybody, for that every day of my amazing American dream, man.
You're our treasure. Thank you so much. This has been so wonderful. I've got that shit-eating grin from 1991 right now.
Come on, brother. You and I, a couple of good-looking dogs. Don't let it go to waste. But, Tim, thank you for this opportunity. I got a big mouth because I still believe in communication. I communicate with people every day. I'm having this unbelievable Ted Nugent Gonzo orgy auction coming up with unbelievable guns and guitars and bows and arrows and rock and roll memorabilia. I will spend the whole day, actually 2 days, March 26th and March 27th at Tucker Hall right here in Waco, Texas. And if people want to witness just how crazy I am and look at the stuff that I'm auctioning off, you can go to tednugentauction.com or actually Burley, B-U-R-L-E-Y, burleyauction.com. But you can also go to my website, tednugent.com. But please, everybody, come to Facebook. Even if you don't agree with the stuff I espouse, come on. Let's have a real honest, friendly, positive conversation and dialogue and debate. I get people on there from every imaginable walk of life and color and ethnicity and race and creed and gender confusion. I have an absolute humankind orgy of positive piss and vinegar on my Facebook every day. So, Tim, I'd like to see you come on, man. I'm on every few hours. And, again, if you want to know the pulse, the heartbeat, the spirit of positive, smart, almost all of them are smart. Some of them aren't. But most people are really smart and cocky and funny and positive and humble and generous and giving and loving. If you want to see the best of humanity, come to my Facebook. And, Tim, we'd be proud to have Metal Tim on, man. You deserve us. We deserve you. So come on, and again, thanks for the opportunity here. Let's work on this crazy technology, because, Tim, I'm not kidding. As fun as this little conversation has been on the Metal Tim Campfire, if you could see how cute I am at 72, it would really inspire you, man. It's like if you eat enough venison and you stay clean and sober and you drink more water than you do sugary crap, you could actually be as cocky and buoyant and cock-blocked and ready to rock the Glock around the clock, Doc, like Uncle Ted. And believe me, I'm 72. I was 72 in December. But I'm telling you, I've been clean and sober my whole life. And here's the trick. No drugs, no alcohol, no tobacco, no fat pussy. I'm telling you, Tim, that shit will kill you. Anyhow, so come to my Facebook and celebrate that quality of life begins with intelligent, accountable, responsible, caring, loving, quality choices. And I am not better able to make such decisions than anybody else on planet Earth. You just have to tell yourself to do it. So thank you for this opportunity, Tim.
All right. Thank you. You take care. Good luck with the auction. And maybe we can do a Zoom celebration. You can count all the money on Zoom.
Let's do it, man. Let's get the Zoom thing happening. I got to go take care of Happy, Sadie, and Coco, my 3 wonderful dogs. I need to go shoot a squirrel in the eyeball so I can have an organic lunch. Tim, God bless you, man.
Yeah,
Metal
you too.
Tim, Metal Ted, never over, never out, never give up, never back down, never give in, never bend over, Rover. Let Teddy take over. Tim, I love you, buddy. Give my best to all the